So welcome to section 5. Now congratulations for making it this far. You've learned a ton about Puppet, but you still have a ways to go. In this section, which I have titled Puppet Refactoring Patterns, you will learn more about extending and customizing Puppet. By the end of this section, you will know a bit more about extending Puppet, making it more custom for your enterprise. So let's go over these topics, huh? We have 7 we need to cover. First, we'll take a peek at the include function. Next, we'll look to see if classes already exist with the define function. Then I'll discuss how to design and create your own Puppet functionality by creating your own functions. Then we'll have topics on how to use Puppet with other technologies, such as the REST API. Now moving on, we'll talk about the REST security model, and then finish up with a topic on the Puppet file server. So let's get started. Let's start with the include function. Now this function is a built-in Puppet function that you can use, well, to include other Puppet classes. It's very similar to the include or the import function of other languages, so its use is fairly straightforward and predictable. In my upcoming demo, I'll talk you through the use of the include function in a piece of Puppet code. In this video, we're going to talk about the Puppet include function. Now Puppet supports functions just like any other programming language, such as, Java or C#. The base development language of Puppet is Ruby. So to do any kind of functions in Puppet, it's helpful to know some Ruby, at least a little bit of Ruby. Now, there's 2 different types of functions that are supported. They're called statement functions and R-value functions. Now, statement functions kind of stand on their own, and they don't have a return type, so they're kind of like procedures. Now, you use them for performing like a standalone task, like importing other Puppet modules or any kind of manifest programming. Now, on the other hand, we have R-value functions, and they return values. And you can only use an R-value function when a statement requires a value, such as if you're assigning something in a if-else statement, a case statement, or some kind of looping structure. Now, there are different kinds of functions that are already in core Puppet. Now, generally, you don't need to have permissions to run any of the core Puppet functions, but if you create custom functions, you're probably going to have some kind of elevated privileges to do so. So here I'm going to talk about the include function. Basically, what it's used for is it's used for the declaration of one or more classes and results in evaluating all the resources present inside those classes and then adds them to the catalog. So basically, this is the way it works. The include function accepts a class name, a list of classes, or a comma-separated list of class names. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind while you're using an include statement is you can use it multiple times within a class, but it has a limitation of including a single class once and only once. So if the included class accepts a parameter or multiple parameters, the include function has to automatically look up the values for them using the syntax of class name, : parameter name as a specific lookup key. Now, if you use the include function, it does not cause a class to be contained in a class when it's declared. So if you're going to use an include function, make sure that you use the full name of a class because that's the only way that you can declare it. Relative names are not allowed when using the include function. So, in this video, you learned a little bit about Puppet functions and how to use the include function.